Logan, a man was charged with disorderly conduct after dumping a bucket of manure here outside the restaurant. That was the only arrest. Other than that, this was a peaceful protest. People were lining the sidewalks outside the restaurant. But the good news is the fire right now is actually heading out towards the wilderness, away from those homes. Stewart's message was consistent with what he's been saying throughout the campaign. There were quite a few hat tips to President Donald Trump and several jabs at Senator Tim Kaine. Scenes like this are still everywhere. Trees uprooted and homes destroyed. And this community is serious about helping. While we were standing out here earlier, a local business owner walked up to the family and actually offered to rebuild this home for free. And they all told me that Carter's message of unity across differences will really help them in this next step forward. The roads behind me are pretty clear with some slush pushed to the side, but this wintry weather did present some problems for the area today. This section of the creek is about 3 miles from where the people were washed away. The truck and train cars have been removed from the scene. Investigators will continue to canvass the area for the next several days. The sign for the floor show on Timberlake Road is now laying inside the store.
It's just hard to believe that this much destruction can take place in just an instant like that.
Wayne DeWitt remembers the day he opened the showroom. He now walks through, glass crunching under his feet.
But you can see standing here the kind of displays that we had and how extensive it was.
Every kind of floor you can think of, they sold it. Carpet, hardwood, ceramic tiles.
Because that's one of the fastest growing categories now.
DeWitt is an expert, and he was proud of that showroom.
It hurts a lot.
He started the business with a small loan in 1975.
It really does.
The rugs, tiles, they mean so much more to him.
I try not to dwell on it.
It's hard not to.
I mean, you know, it's a life's work here that I was really, really proud of.
It's frustrating, and it doesn't make sense.
Just total devastation, and yet there's a champagne bottle sitting there.
Some things left unscathed, his life's work demolished. But with any work that takes a lifetime to perfect, you don't just give up on it.
We've survived so far, and we will survive from this.
Here, let's see.
Leanne Klinging-Smith has a folder filled with receipts from one day in particular.
So December 23rd, 2017, 5:18 p.m.
That's when Klinging-Smith and her family embarked on their Christmas trek from Northern Virginia to Oklahoma in their 2017 RAV4. Right?
Yep, brand new.
Along the way, they made a pit stop in Southwest Virginia at the Ironto truck stop. But instead of fueling their drive forward, they hit a bump in the road.
Not 200 feet off the exit, we immediately broke down.
The side of Interstate 81 is where you would find not only the Klinging-Smiths, but the Christians, Patricks, and at least 10 others who broke down after getting gas.
Someone knocked on my window, but I recognized him. He was at that gas station too, and he said, "I think we got bad gas."
When mechanics tested the fuel, they detected water, in some cases as much as 95%. The Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services is in charge of inspecting gas stations across the Commonwealth. WDBJ7 filed a public records request to see the last time the Ironto truck stop was checked out. 2014 was the most recent inspection date.
We obviously want to get out to these devices as quickly or as short of an interval as possible. It's not always possible.
Joel Maddox heads up the Weights and Measures Department at VDAX. He says being an inspector is a complicated job with a training period of 6 to 8 months. They calibrate pumps.
Making sure the customer is getting what they receive, I think, is very important.
Test tanks for water.
If this tank had water in it, you'd see purple.
And send all of that information to a lab. The problem, pumps across Virginia outnumber the inspectors.
Well, we have 28 inspectors, and as you can see, we have 132,000 devices.
Each of the 28 inspectors would be responsible for checking more than 4,000 devices each year. To cover every one, they would have to inspect 13 devices every day, assuming they all work 365 days.
We can't be everywhere at once.
In their absence, they rely on consumers to alert them when they encounter a problem. These stickers can be found on pumps across the Commonwealth. They show the last inspection date and a phone number to call if there are any problems. This sticker was on the pumps in Ironto, a sticker Klingsmith didn't notice when she was gassing up.
I expect to get gas in my vehicle and be able to move on and carry on.
The cause is still under investigation, but these problems are rare. Of the 427 complaints last year, only 66 pertain to motor fuel quality, and inspectors say it's usually maintenance issues, not someone tampering with the tank. The owner of the truck stop has compensated the Klingsmiths for damages, but the experience has made the family more aware of problems at the pump and who's in charge of monitoring them.
It's disappointing. And had we not received compensation, I can tell you there would be a lot more follow through on our end.
Lynchburg 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
My wife is going into labor.
It was May of 2016.
Is she having contractions?
No.
A night that holds a very different meaning to everyone involved. The dispatcher.
You realize what a big moment this is for the people that you're talking to, and you don't want to mess up, right?
Dad.
I mean, it's the scariest moment of my life.
Mom.
Just joy, complete joy. And what a story.
And Violet, whose life was really just beginning about 2 weeks early in the middle of the night.
She is on the floor right now. She's on her hands and knees.
Okay. And I'm like, babe, we're not going anywhere. It's like it's gonna be a home birth.
The living room floor was now their delivery room. Instead of a hospital staff, they had Piper Vandeperry.
I want you to get some dry towels and a blanket to wrap the baby in just in case.
Step by step, she talked them through the delivery.
And get a string or a shoelace to tie around the umbilical cord after delivery.
Towels were easy, but where am I going to get like a piece of string? And I finally just gave up on that.
As Violet made her entrance,
Yeah, that's it from my head.
Okay.
That's my head.
things got tense.
This timer that's going off, right? Okay, now we need to get her all the way out.
Is the baby crying or breathing?
No.
Sorry, it's like a flashback.
Do you see any obvious problems?
She's purple. Her head's purple.
Amidst panic, Vandeperry kept a steady voice and gave directions.
I'm going to tell you how to give mouth to mouth, okay?
You are their lifeline.
And about a minute later,
What's going on?
There she goes. She just cried.
She just cried. That's great. That's great.
the joy felt in that moment carries through to Violet's very existence.
When she smiles at me, she makes me feel like the most important person in the world.
The experience has not been lost on Vandeperry either. She got to meet the family for the first time. Violet can't even say her name. It's now a story they all tell. Mom more so than Dad.
I'm curious to see when she's old enough, what she's going to think. Oh, that story again, come on.
Until then, Violet will remain blissfully unaware of how she came into this world. And how much better a place it is because she did. In Lynchburg, Siobhan McGirl, WDBJ 7.